Now from the WCCO Live Desk, you're watching CBS News Minnesota.
Good morning. I'm Maria Lizignoli. It's 10 o'clock live in the WCCO newsroom. Thanks for joining us at the Live Desk. Happening in 1 hour, small business owners will speak out in St. Paul, warning that ongoing ICE enforcement is hurting Minnesota's economy. They say sales are down, workers are afraid to show up, and losses are climbing into the hundreds of millions. At 11 this morning, business leaders will release new data and push back on claims enforcement has eased. The press conference is at the Urban Growler Brewing Company, and we'll bring it to you live as soon as it begins right here at the Live Desk. Now, new this morning, arrests made at the University of Minnesota campus following an anti-ICE protest. According to the university, 12 protesters were arrested outside the Graduate Hotel. Here's a look at the scene. It was a noisy scene outside of the hotel where protesters believe ICE agents are staying. In a statement from the University of Minnesota, 11 of the protesters were arrested for disorderly conduct, and one was arrested for property damage. That statement also said the university and its police department support peaceful protests, but say last night officers gave 5 dispersal orders. Those who refused to leave were arrested. A man accused of threatening to assault and kill ICE agents is under arrest.
For the murder of federal law enforcement officers, he encouraged bloodshed in the streets of Minnesota.
Cameras captured agents taking 37-year-old Kyle Wagner into custody at an apartment in South Minneapolis yesterday morning. He was wearing a shirt that said, "I'm Antifa." The Justice Department says Wagner was using social media to encourage violence. He's now charged with threatening to assault and kill ICE agents. Wagner is also accused of publishing the personal information of an ICE supporter in Michigan and threatening that person too. Border Czar Tom Homan says nearly 160 protesters have been arrested in the past month. DHS posted some of their photos on social media, and we're taking a closer look at a couple of those cases. One pictured in the post is Davis Redman. Court documents say he was driving aggressively while following Border Patrol agents through Minneapolis before he, quote, suddenly accelerated his car, colliding with the black GMC driven by Border Patrol. Redmond's attorney said on Thursday the charges he faces are bogus and were downgraded from a felony to a misdemeanor. In a separate case, prosecutors say this federal agent was shoved and punched in the face. Brittany Stallings is accused of assaulting him. We reached out to attorneys of multiple people that DHS posted about online. We have heard back from some, but not all of them yet. Now, the state has been pushing back on claims by the feds that prisons and jails are not honoring detainers and instead releasing non-citizens who have committed crimes. Wednesday, Border Czar Tom Homan said cooperation with jails was a factor in sending 700 federal agents out of Minnesota. WCCO Investigates got a first look inside a county jail housing detainees for ICE since Operation Metro Surge began. Now, Crow Wing County Sheriff Eric Klang says the jail began accepting ICE detainees last November. They have between 30 to 50 there at a time, saying they come and go. He expects deputies to treat the detainees with respect and wants them to have a positive experience inside the jail. He asked about who the county is housing. We asked about who the county is housing in its jail for ICE and if they have a criminal history.
Sometimes they have assaults or something like that on there that we'll get notified of just for classification purposes so we know where to put them. But the majority of them, we don't know if they have anything or not.
Should you know who you're housing in your jail?
Yes, we should. And we do the best with the information that we have. They're not violent, they're very cooperative, they're very compliant.
You know, we keep hearing about the worst of the worst, that they're targeting the worst of the worst. And I'm wondering, do you have the worst of the worst here in your jail?
No, I wouldn't say that we have the worst of the worst in this facility. You know, they talk about, you know, who's the worst of the worst.
An ICE sculpture with an anti-ICE message was brought outside the state capitol yesterday afternoon, but it didn't stay for very long. Far-right influencer and pardoned January 6th insurrectionist Jake Lang kicked the sculpture down. Lang was booked into the Ramsey County Jail after destroying the sculpture. Before being vandalized, it read "Prosecute ICE" and was commissioned by a group representing 500,000 veteran and military families. Lang, a Florida man, was also behind a rally that sparked this chaotic scene last month in downtown Minneapolis. This is Lang's new mugshot. He's potentially facing charges of criminal damage to property, but those have not been officially filed yet. Minnesota native Lindsey Vaughn is gearing up for the Olympics. We'll show you her wild training video, even with a torn ACL. Plus, as we take a live look outside downtown Minneapolis, we have a brand new forecast with Joseph Dames right after the break.
Now, from the WCCO Live Desk, you're watching CBS News Minnesota.
Welcome back to the Live Desk. New this morning, our cameras captured a car stuck in an unusual situation. Take a look at this. This SUV crashed into the light rail station over at Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis. It happened just before 2 a.m. Police were on the scene when our cameras arrived. Now, we've reached out to State Patrol and Metro Transit Police. We'll update you as soon as we learn more. More video of another wild crash on 35W in South Minneapolis yesterday. Watch that van driving in the median here, then smash right into the transit center on 46th Street. Here's a look from the other side. State Patrol says a dog ran away from the vehicle after the crash, but was captured by law enforcement without injuries. Troopers later found the driver hiding in the transit center stairwell with minor injuries. He was arrested for suspicion of DWI and taken to the hospital. A major headache for getting wherever you want to be this weekend if you're in the St. Paul area. Check this out. Construction season is here already. Both directions of I-94 are scheduled to close this weekend. That's happening between Highway 61 and Highway 52. The closure begins tonight at 10, and then the interstate reopens Sunday evening. It's that time of year again. MnDOT needs your help to name a snowplow. More than 6,750 names were submitted, and now the finalists have been announced. So here are just a few of the options that made the final cut. Ready? K-pop blizzard hunter, O for sleet's sake, Six sleddin', life of a snow girl. Got a bit Taylor Swift in there. And then I got friends in snow places. A little bit of Garth Brooks for you too. Thankfully, we don't really need any snowplows right now. It's kind of beautiful outside as we see a lot of sunshine and blue skies, but also a blue next weather tower, meaning that things are going to cool down a little bit. Let's check in with next weather meteorologist Joseph Dames.
Happy Friday to everyone. I'm meteorologist Joseph Dames, and we're taking a look at what's coming up in the forecast today for your weekend and the extended stretch. The one thing that you will notice today is the wind, all right? That's our first headline. That's our big next weather factor to wrap up the week. All right, the wind's at the forefront. I have gusts about 30 to 40 miles per hour today. Sustained wind speeds about 20 to 25. And it's just going to be a day where it's windy outside. It's going to be, you know, if you wanted to go for a walk because temperatures were nice and mild this morning, it's going to feel a lot colder because of the wind. I have a brief cool down tonight as well. Single digits in the forecast and sub-zero temperatures up north. I'm going to show you the map here in about 30 seconds. And then we're going to be warmer once we get beyond that, starting on Sunday and early next week. Wind gust forecast. Here we go. We get into the afternoon, 20 to 30 miles per hour, starting to weaken up to the northwest there. But we don't fully calm down and become a little more tame until probably overnight tonight. And that's when we have clear skies, a calm wind, and our temperatures fall down just a bit. And then we start to cloud up again, and we shift the wind out of the south-southeast on Saturday. Still a little breezy, but not as strong, but enough to, you know, make it just more of a nuisance if you're out there. And so that's going to chop away at the temperatures a bit too with the wind chill. Highs at 18 for Grand Rapids. You hit your high at midnight. It was actually in the upper 20s and lower 30s to the north too. But this afternoon, this is more of your afternoon high. For the cities, we hit 37, and now we're just going down. Your afternoon high temperature is going to likely be in like the 20s. Overnight tonight, we're at 9. All right. Tomorrow we hit to 26, then to 35 on Sunday. So the weekend does warm up, and Sunday should be pretty tame as far as the wind goes. So that will be our break from the wind. And then we get to 42 on Monday. A nice, beautiful forecast on Monday to kick off the week. Overall, I'd say mild, yes, but dry. I don't have a lot of moisture in the forecast coming up. If that changes, you'll be the first to know. That's part of our next weather promise. Have a nice weekend. You get all of your updates at CBS News Minnesota.
Joseph, thank you so much. The Winter Olympics are here, and check this out. Deep squats, knee bends, and jumps. This is how a gold medal champion is training with a busted ACL. Lindsey Vonn posted this video saying she is not giving up on her Olympic comeback. The Minnesota native tore her ACL after a tough fall in her final downhill race before heading to Italy. Well, she's there now, and she competed in her first trial run this morning. She's scheduled to race this Sunday for the women's downhill. One member of the Wild goes into the Olympics on a heater. Matt Boldy is in Italy after a first period hat trick on Wednesday night. Now the NHL is on their Olympic break. Boldy missed some games due to injury this year, but he says he feels good now.
You want to have an impact in every game, I think, and you know, it was a lot of rehab, but yeah, there's been a lot of games, so that's, I guess, a plus from it too, being able to not time off, but be able to kind of reset a little with that kind of thing I had going on, and you know, be a little bit more fresh.
Love to hear that. All right, let's check in with Mike Max now for a look at what else is coming up in sports.
Good morning, and look for some more action from the Minnesota Timberwolves today. They did one deal yesterday. They did not get Giannis, but they were able to convert for a shooting guard they like very much. Ayo Dosunmu, he can play from the Chicago Bulls, 15 points a game. The only downside, he's a free agent after this season. Mike Conley's in play as well, waived by the Charlotte Hornets after he was traded from Minnesota to Chicago to Charlotte, meaning they could bring him back. Anthony Edwards said yesterday, I'd really like to have him back.
And Mike, my guy, he's like an OG to me, man. Always helped me when I was struggling on the court. Great conversation off the court. Just a great dude overall. So hopefully we can get him back.
Wolves in action tonight at Target Center. Gopher women's basketball team with a big upset last night, and they did it convincingly against Iowa. Took a big lead and then held on 91-85 for their 5th straight win. Gopher hockey team in action tonight against Ohio State, coming off 2 straight wins last week. Big show on the rally tonight, including a former Gopher now coaching an area high school team. That and much more tonight at 10 on the rally on WCCO TV. For CBS News Minnesota, I'm Mike Max, and that is your morning look at sports.
Thanks, Maxie. Well, today you may notice people wearing red because it's National Wear Red Day, a day to raise awareness about the #1 killer of women in the United States, cardiovascular disease. Nearly 45% of women ages 20 and older are living with some form of cardiovascular disease, according to the American Heart Association. As part of Go Red for Women Day, the American Heart Association is not only raising awareness, they're raising money. And today only, your donation can go even further. Anything you donate will be matched 6 times. Just visit goredforwomen.org. More of your top headlines after a quick break.
watching WCCO Mid-Morning with Heather Brown and AJ Hilton. Now we're talking.
Thanks for watching. Well, as the ice surge in Minnesota continues, arrests were made at the University of Minnesota campus following an anti-ice protest.
According to the university, 12 protesters were arrested. This was outside of the Graduate Hotel. Here's a look at the scene. Noisy outside that hotel where protesters believe ICE agents are staying. In a statement from the U, 11 of the protesters were arrested for disorderly conduct. One was arrested for property damage. That statement also said that the university and its police department support peaceful protests, but they say last night officers gave 5 dispersal orders. Those who refused to leave were arrested. And Border Czar Tom Homan says nearly 160 protesters have been arrested over the past month.
DHS posted some of their photos on social media, and we took a closer look at a couple of those cases. One pictured in the post is Davis Redmond. Court documents say he was driving aggressively while following Border Patrol agents through Minneapolis before he suddenly accelerated his car, colliding with the black GMC driven by Border Patrol. Redmond's attorneys said on Thursday the charges he faces were downgraded from a felony to a misdemeanor. And in a separate case, prosecutors said this federal agent was shoved and punched in the face right here. Brittany Stallings is accused of assaulting him. We reached out to the attorneys of several people DHS posted online and have not yet heard back from all of them.
Minnesota Department of Corrections shows there are fewer than